everyone. I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with some uplifting stories across the country. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, a cut above the rest, but on a street corner in Idaho, that's not just a saying, it's a sound, a rhythm, a ritual. Hunter Funk explains what's sharpening the restaurant industry in downtown Boise.
A lot of prepping.
In the kitchen of the Basque Market,
we have to do over 68 gallons of onions.
Precision is everything.
Bell peppers, chitty show, which all of that we cut by hand.
And each also knows a dull blade,
sharper the knife, the faster it goes,
can cut more than time.
Duller, it's more like you're gonna cut yourself and it just takes forever. So it's very nice to have sharp knives.
Right. So once a month, like clockwork.
You just walk outside and you're like, what is he doing? Just out of the back of his Jeep.
A man named Bill.
I'm a sharp guy, you know? Yeah, okay, I know, that's a bad joke.
Parks at a meter, grabs his tools.
You know, I can sit here and go to sleep and do this.
And brings his stories.
Go say hi to him.
You know what the electric slicers are that they use for slicing like in delis and stuff?
He'll tell you a great story about like cutting his thumb on a meat slicer.
Before you check the edge on one, turn it off. Don't stick your thumb on it when it's running.
Something like that.
So about 3 hours later, and I think 4 stitches later, I was back out sharpening knives. Yeah.
Just a few lessons from the School of Hard Knocks, given how long he's been doing this.
Well, I've been sharpening knives since I was probably 8, 9, 10. One of my buddies got a deer and went to field dressing, and his knife didn't work real good. My other buddy didn't work real good. I pulled mine out and it worked really good. All of a sudden, it became cool to have a sharp knife.
Now retired, this is what he does for fun.
He's the only one I've ever seen do it.
Here in downtown Boise.
And I was doing upwards of about 500 knives in a week or so. So a couple of them.
At least 25 restaurants know him by.
$2 bill seems to be sticking. They're starting to remember that, but that's not my business name. And
ask why?
He does cheap prices and makes sure that you're good.
$2 a blade, a price that hasn't sharpened in decades. That edge isn't just for chefs.
He sees anybody, whether it's a guy delivering beer or what, he'll go, do you have a pocket knife? You got a pocket knife, I'll sharpen it for free. Just give me your knife.
If they got to put up with the traffic and the trying to park down here, if I can do a pocket knife and they get something out of that, and you know, they're not expecting to get something, you know, or have anything nice happen sometimes. So I do that, and it's just, it makes it fun.
To some, he's the man that sharpens knives in the middle of the street. To others, a grandfather figure in flannel.
Yeah, he makes everybody feel like family, I feel like.
His impact, though, razor sharp.
Most of my customers know the day this becomes work, it's sayonara.
That was Hunter Funk reporting. Now, a student's love for music is hitting all the right notes. A baritone player is overcoming challenges to shine in his school's band. Alan Casper has his story.
My name is Angel, and this is my baritone. Since I was a little kid, I started liking music. Makes me feel comfortable. When I was in 6th grade, I heard about being in band and I was interested.
Angel has come a long way. I remember when we first tested him, he was very nervous about the idea of being in band. Due to him being blind and not being able to read the music. But we have a very dedicated team of band directors here that told him that it would be no problem and that we would find something that would work for him.
Well, one of the band directors make a test for me for what instrument should I play. And they tested me on baritone and I started to play.
Baritone was his best fit. So we decided that with that one, we felt he would be most successful. Last year when he was in 6th grade, we started him, and he blew us away. He was playing pop tunes and Go Big Blue within the first 2 weeks of him playing the baritone, and he has come so far. So when he first gets a brand new piece of music, we can't just throw it at him and say, here, read this, because he can't see it. But what we'll do is we'll break it down for him.
We count through it, and then we name it, and then we play it.
It has taken this dedicated team of directors to really take him beyond where he thought he was going to be.
My favorite thing about band is we get to go to UIL. We got straight ones.
Con sus amiguitos, él se lleva muy bien.
Thanks be to God, because in this country he was able to discover band, and he loves being in it and playing his instrument, and he's happy with that.
That was Alan Casper reporting. America's fastest growing sport is opening closed doors. In Connecticut, more people are getting the opportunity to enjoy pickleball. And as Jim Altman shows us, it is motivating spectators from the sidelines to join the game.
In Wallingford, yes, the more backspins and bangers, the better.
There it is, good.
Gaylord Hospital Sports Association is on serve for another season. Their adaptive pickleball program has returned.
You don't have to have a ton of mobility or hand-eye to play it. It basically opens doors where doors would otherwise be closed.
Holding court today are the guest coaches.
And now keep going for your own personal world record.
A doubles team. And you are seeing double. The Rossetti twins are pickleball ambassadors.
We set 4 Guinness World Records, 2 in tennis and 2 in pickleball.
For Angelo and Et from Hamden, the hits just keep coming.
So the longest dink rally we did on World Mental Health Day 2021, and we rallied 16,046 times. That took 6 hours and 11 minutes. And the last one last year was on August 17th, the longest volley rally, and we volleyed 10,532 times without a bounce. That took 2 hours and 44 seconds.
Each year, the brothers lend their time and talents.
Oh, almost. That was good.
Mark Denardis is a double below-the-knee amputee who's no longer on the sidelines. He's by the service line.
When you're playing fast and the ball's coming fast at you and you react quickly, it's kind of an adrenaline rush, and you get addicted to that.
I'm a T6, T7. I'm paralyzed from the chest down.
After a devastating skiing accident 5 years ago,
I hear it when I hit it.
The game has given Jeff Matson a new aim.
So all you need is a paddle and a ball and a net. So I want to play this all the time, and it's fun, you know.
And here, perhaps it's not just about pickleball.
3, new record, keep going.
It's about
4, 5.
making connections.
You know, it gives to me just as much, if not more, as what I give to them. I believe that pickleball is a representation of hope, because a lot of athletes have lost the self-belief when they lose a limb, but now we're giving it back through pickleball.
In Wallingford, Connecticut, Jim Altman for Featured.
A runner in California is using her superpower to support veterans. Katie Strong from the West Coast. She ran from the West Coast, to the U.S. Capitol in just 77 days. And while it was a painful journey, her purpose, she says, was more important. Jeff Zevely has her story.
When Katie Strong runs, it takes her mind off a childhood filled with violence and abuse.
I had broken several bones and had burns and very serious injuries by the time I was 10.
Katie calls running her superpower, which is why in 2018 she ran 2,700 miles to honor military veterans like her father, David Strong.
He was a corporal in the Army.
Katie's stepfather also served in the Army and was a Purple Heart recipient.
I had this with me. I ran with this 2,700 miles across the country. Good luck charm, because I made it all in one piece.
Katie ran from the West Coast to the U.S. Capitol, planting 22 American flags. like she recently did near her home in San Marcos.
What I learned is that veterans that are here now, they suffer from something called the 22s, that meaning 22 veterans a day die by suicide. Come on, let's go.
As an abused child, dogs gave Katie strength, which is why she gave Army veteran Doug Delgado this dog named Lucky Gus.
She's one of the greatest people I've ever met.
Doug says Katie's support and this dog are two reasons he's alive.
I don't feel as secluded as I was.
This is Selkie. Selkie's 4.5 years old.
Andy McTeague is a retired Navy SEAL who trains service dogs, and he couldn't believe Katie would run across America to show her love.
I'm very happy that she found me.
Did she save your life?
Absolutely. This is a savior of mine. Both of us.
Running through the city, Senior Rapids.
And when we tell you Katie likes to run,
Out of Winchester on my way to Washington and Old Dominion Trail.
how many miles a day did you go?
35 to 40
miles a day.
a day.
Wow.
77 days.
This is a picture of her battered feet following her journey.
Her last 4 days, she was running with broken bones in both of her feet.
Every life is part of one body.
Katie wrote a book titled USA Runner with this message for every veteran.
Never stop fighting. You fought for the country, now fight for yourself and your family. Keep fighting, because on the other end of all that pain is a good life.
In the Zevely Zone,
You hear Boston strong and LA strong. We're USA strong. We're all together. USA, we're strong.
Jeff Zevely.
All right, we have more for you ahead on Featured. 7 cancer diagnoses for one woman and a breakthrough that could save her life. Plus, a baby's much-needed helmet went missing. We'll tell you how a stranger got it back in the right hands. And a little bit later, we'll tell you why oranges are making or breaking relationships on social media. Welcome back. One cancer battle is enough to wear someone down, but a woman from Florida is battling the disease for the 7th time. And as Ugochi Iloka explains, despite another challenge, she hasn't lost her smile.
I laugh a lot. I laugh a lot through it.
With a bubbly personality to match, it's no wonder 41-year-old Lainey Jones keeps smiling.
Attitude is 90% of the battle. And truly, I always say, if you live in fear, you're not living.
Lainey is once again in the battle of her life.
I can't sit here and cry because cancer is going to win.
The most recent cancer Lainey is dealing with can affect her cognitive abilities.
Can you share what glioblastoma
is? Glioblastoma is a form of brain cancer that's a very aggressive form of brain cancer.
Lainey was previously diagnosed with 6 types of cancers, including breast and lung cancer.
I'm human too. I have my days.
As soon as she beat one cancer, another one would pop up, something they were able to catch thanks to early detection testing.
It's so important to me that people don't ignore a sign that could, be detrimental to their life.
When she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, doctors determined she had Lee-Fraumeni syndrome, a rare genetic condition that increases the risk of forming cancer.
Here, and I get whole body MRIs every 3 months. So we come to Houston every 3 months, back and forth.
She lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but has been coming with her husband to MD Anderson for the last 15 years for cancer treatments.
We're basically Houstonians.
While Lainey is getting 25 rounds of radiation at MD Anderson, which is about 7 minutes from here, she'll be staying right here at the American Cancer Society's Hope Lodge room. Get this, for free.
The assistant general manager of Hope Lodge in Houston says they are providing free rooms and services to at least 120 cancer patients.
We offer shuttle rides, and there's no cost to the guests, so we help them commute to and from the lodge to their appointments.
For Lainey, this is all full circle because she not only works for the American Cancer Society, but she used to work for Hope Lodge in New York, too.
So I always say, when you wake up, that's a gift, right? And you can't let cancer get the best of you.
Now Lainey is the gift that keeps on giving through her positive attitude despite a tough road ahead.
That was Ugochi Aloka reporting. It was a moment of panic for one mom in Iowa when something vital to her baby's health went missing. Jenna Webster shows us how when her plea hit Facebook, a Good Samaritan delivered more than just likes.
Hi. For Flynn, the helmet he wears is more than just an accessory.
Show your helmet. He has torticollis, which basically means the tight muscles in the neck that kind of cranks it to one side, and it then creates the flat spot in the back called plagiocephaly.
Mom Jane Armbrecht says the custom fit helmet cost close to $3,000. An expense insurance didn't cover. The family is from Cedar Falls and was visiting Davenport over the weekend for a graduation.
Where'd Lenny go?
She decided to leave the helmet in the car, but while they made it home, the helmet did not.
The panic, and I feel like everyone can relate to that feeling of like something valuable or important is missing, and like that sick to your stomach feeling.
That's when she took her plea to Facebook and quickly got a response.
I hit the post office every day, and this is a block away. It was too easy to not try.
Scott Klein.
It was about right here.
Found it outside Modern Woodman Park.
It was just lying on the ground, probably got kicked right out as they were putting a kid in or something like that. It just fell right out and it was lying right on the ground.
That's awesome. Not only was like there likes and comments and shares already, but the first one I read was yours that said you found it with the picture. I mean, I basically collapsed back into a chair and cried.
Almost too easy.
Yeah.
Flynn's helmet is at the post office, now on its way back home.
I'm gonna cry again.
That's what it's about, Jane.
A small act bringing big relief for one mom.
That was Jenna Webster reporting. Now, bike riding, it's fun and beneficial for kids. I loved my first bike. It was a Barbie bike that had little pink tassels and pink training wheels. It was a big moment when I got my training wheels off. This bike riding, it offers physical, mental, and social advantages. And that is why volunteers in Illinois are on a mission to teach children with disabilities how to ride a bike. The organizers say they hope the impact goes beyond the bike lesson.
It's a great confidence builder, and that translates to school and relationships and work, everything.
The research shows that over 80% of people with autism and 90% of people with Down syndrome never experience this thrill of riding a bike. The I Can Shine bike organization hopes to change that statistic. I love that story. Alrighty, time for a quick break, but first let's check out what's coming up. They call themselves the Trash Bashers. What they found that made them reach out to their local news station. Plus, this might be one of the luckiest men in the world. We'll tell you how he is scratching his way to becoming a millionaire. Welcome back. All right, let's dive into what's trending on social media now. A Maryland man's luck doesn't seem to be running out. Get this, he has won 6 figures, not once, but 3 times from scratch-off lottery tickets. I need some of that luck to rub off on me. All right, so recently he scored $100,000, but before that, he took home $250,000 and another $100,000 all from scratch-offs. Now he says he won't stop playing until he hits 1 or 2 million. All right, next time you fry an egg, maybe grab a cucumber instead of oil or cooking spray. I know that sounds a little strange, but here's what's going on. So one TikToker is going viral claiming that rubbing a cucumber on a hot frying pan will prevent it from sticking. Let's check it out. Her video racked up 17 million views in about a week, and she claimed she learned this trick from an Italian grandmother. Now, other TikTokers started posting their own videos doing the hack, saying it really works. All right, I'll have to keep that in mind next time I'm at the grocery store. Remember to buy a cucumber and test that out. I'll report back. All right, now apparently there is a new trend for couples. It's called the orange pill theory. So TikTok claims it is supposed to indicate a partner's level of care and commitment in a relationship. Here's how it works. You'll ask your significant other to perform a small task, that you could easily do, like peel an orange. And if your partner readily agrees and performs the task, it's seen as a sign of love and attentiveness. But if they refuse or are a little reluctant about it, it can be interpreted as a lack of consideration or commitment. So tell me what you think. Is it a red flag? Let me know. Alrighty, that's a wrap on trending. Here's a look at what's ahead on Featured Now. A top seller with no plans on stopping. How this real estate agent stands out among the competition. Plus, lights, camera, action. We have a closer look at a chocolate empire and the man who made it a success. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you some uplifting stories from across the country. This time we are starting off in Maryland to meet a real estate agent who is turning heads because of her age. She just turned 100, but as Sean Martinelli tells us, retirement is the last thing on her mind.
One spade.
2 hearts.
For most in this Gaithersburg, Maryland Senior Center, bridge is just a game.
Not a beautiful hand, but
For Mary Wykes, it's an opportunity.
I have my ear to the ground all the time.
Because playing cards aren't the only cards she deals.
Just in case you want to buy or sell a house, Pat.
You heard Mary correctly. If you're a buyer or a seller, she could be your realtor.
I'd be glad to help you.
What makes Mary stand out is not what she does, it's that she still does it. At 100.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised but what they think. Oh, she's too old. I want a young, pretty agent.
Though there are plenty of those, there's only one Mary.
I grew up at a time when women were secretaries.
When most of her friends majored in home ec, Mary majored in business.
Relaxing's not really in her DNA.
That's Mary's daughter Pam, who says her mom recently celebrated a birthday by slicing cake, then handing out business cards to the crowd.
She is competitive in the real estate market.
Just ask Mary's managing broker, Janice Raffle.
Right now, she's very popular.
And while Mary may be the office's only centenarian seller,
she sold 3 houses this year.
I don't want everybody to become a real estate agent because there are really too many right now.
When we asked Mary why she still sells, why she still spends hours scrolling through listings, we expected something profound. Instead,
get the direct deposit in my bank account.
Back at Bridge, business is good.
And she sold 2 houses for me.
But for any good realtor, relaxing just isn't in the cards.
That was Sean Martinelli reporting. Now, Mary says she plans to keep on going well past 100. She says her license doesn't expire until she's 106. And I'm sure those folks would love to have her in the community. All right, moving on to our next story here. A tornado destroyed the home of a man in Missouri, left with no place to live now. 2 teenagers stepped up to do something about it. Holden Krawicki shows us how they got others to pitch in and help.
For the past 47 years, the Abramson Dental Office has been a staple along Natural Bridge in North St. Louis.
He made me dentists and stuff, and didn't charge me for them.
It's like his second home.
Over the years, Dr. Abramson became friends with Thomas Caruth, a neighborhood handyman who lives 2 doors away.
You know, I did a lot of work down in the basement. I put up shelves, I did roofing, I did some of everything for him.
He's definitely been such a great person and helped out my grandpa, and I think that he deserves the world because, I mean, not gonna lie, my grandpa's a lot to put up with.
When an EF3 tornado struck St. Louis, it sent Dr. Abramson into an early retirement.
I'm a miss him.
However, the Abramson family was more worried about Thomas.
My room bedroom set. This is where me and my wife slept at right here.
In an effort to help the man who has helped them countless times,
He's done so much for my grandpa and for our family, so he deserves the world.
Dr. Abramson's grandkids, Raquel and Leo, started a GoFundMe.
He got really affected by the tornado, and it's like devastating because he doesn't have much family left.
To date, they've raised close to $10,000 for Thomas.
He's given to the community, he should get it back.
That's why Thomas has this message for the entire Abramson family.
And they wonderful, the whole family. I just love them. I love them just like they my brothers and sisters, and he's my father.
Reporting in St. Louis, Holden Kerwicki.
Alrighty, now to more kids making some big moves. A science lesson turned into a call to action for some fourth graders in Ohio. After learning about the environmental impact of litter, the class took action. Betsy King shares how they are working to clean up the trash problem for a better future.
Meet the Birchwood Trash Bashers, also known as the fourth grade class at Birchwood School of Hawken on Cleveland's west side. These kids are on a mission to clean up litter around their school, and what they're finding most? Plastics.
I'm writing to you to ask if you could do a news story about the problem of plastic and tell everyone about how bad it is. I bet you have heard how bad this is, but it is very important to me and everyone else in this world.
Isla Musson wrote that letter to 3 News after learning that globally, only about 9% of plastic waste is recycled. The rest, it ends up in landfills, natural habitats, and Lake Erie.
We use plastic every day, and that it's so useful, but it's so bad for our environment.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very angry and disappointed.
Motivated by what they learned, the class sprang into action. They started picking up trash, making posters, and designing flyers to distribute at local libraries with the message, "Don't drop, just stop."
What happens when people, throw something out the car window, for example?
Sometimes animals can mistake litter for food and get that and consume inside them, and animals can't process the litter and they'll probably die.
It's just sad knowing a lot of people are littering, and 50% of USA people, they're admitting to litter.
The Trash Bashers have organized monthly litter patrols over the summer, taking the lesson they learned to heart.
What inspired you to want to help in this, besides a school assignment?
Well, I didn't want our future to be bad, and I wanted us to live in a clean future.
But if we keep on littering, our future won't be as nice as what it's right now.
And they hope others will learn from them too.
Way to go. Those little ones give me some hope for the future. That was Betsy Kling reporting. Alrighty, now this 11-year-old, check him out, proving there's nothing much that, there's not much she can't do. She is preparing for the International Braille Challenge. Wow, and in the meantime, she is baking up some inspiration in the kitchen. Check it out.
If you think you have an appetite for new challenges,
close enough. Looks great.
Try measuring up to Sloan Peterson. She obtained her cottage baking license at 10 years old.
Chocolate chips.
While living with a visual impairment.
Vanilla.
And if you think reading a cookbook in Braille is impressive, we need to skip back a few pages.
Okay, here's the first chapter.
We first met Sloan and her mom Danica back in 2022.
Wondered.
Sloan has a brain tumor on her optic nerve. She is completely blind in her right eye. Her left eye tests somewhere between 2400 and 2800.
Good to be outside.
Instead of dwelling on her impairment, Sloan studied Braille and turned it into a superpower. She was one of just 50 finalists for the International Braille Challenge in 2022. And earlier this year, she won her age group in the first ever state competition.
Braille Challenge.
Now she's once again an international finalist.
Speed and accuracy.
And hoping to crack the top 3 with some extra practice.
It's called Speed and Accuracy. It's my personal least favorite, so thank you for making me do my homework.
But if you think this is the only challenge she's taken on in the past 3 years,
a tactile Rubik's Cube.
Think again.
And you can solve it just like any other Rubik's Cube, so.
Are you a little competitive?
Yes.
Sloan grew to balance that edge with a few extra scoops of sweetness. Last year, turning her love of baking into a fundraiser for the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center that really added up.
Almost $500, I think.
And this year, she's turning those recipes
Well, this is the final print project
into her very own cookbook.
She interviewed a couple local authors about their experience and recruited some people to help test the recipes.
She also typed out a special version in Braille.
There are 15 recipes in here.
And her school helped her print enough copies for every Braille reader interested in following her lead.
Like any other hobby, there's challenges to it, but in this case, I think the payoff is worth it.
For Sloan, the payoff is more than a tasty treat or a printed book.
I feel like people think that visually impaired people can't do it, which sort of makes me want to prove them wrong.
And you got that Rubik's Cube solved, so you can do that too.
Yeah, that's one of the easier things I've figured out, but...
You know, she's kind of stopped surprising me, because she can kind of do everything, but it's a lot of fun.
It's also
pretty good going.
One more sweet challenge complete.
That was Kent Erdahl reporting. Now, bags, they can carry more than just your belongings. For some, it provides a sense of self-worth and pride. Sean Giggy introduces us to two sisters in Texas who know how much that support matters, and now they're paying it forward.
Are you eating?
No. Looking back, it's easy to see a recipe for disaster.
Oh, yeah.
But sisters Betty and Marve Bajika say whenever life dealt a bitter blow, something sweet followed.
Can you believe it?
Like it did the day they got the bag.
It meant the whole world. It was a great blessing.
It kind of gives you hope, and it also encourages you to do the same thing for somebody else.
13 years ago, Betty and Marve came to North Texas from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They moved in with their dad, who'd been living here a while. It was not a good situation.
I reported abuse to the schools.
It was more like child neglection. So we got into foster care in 2019.
When kids enter the foster system, they're often given a garbage bag to take everything they own with them. Likewise, when they turn 18 and graduate, they leave the foster system out on their own with nothing but a garbage bag to their name.
We can do it again, and even better.
It's a problem that bothered Hunter Beaton. Growing up, many of Hunter's siblings were foster kids.
I have luggage whenever I travel, so it was really confusing to see.
So a few years ago, Hunter started a nonprofit called Day One Bags to provide a bag filled with essentials to every kid entering the foster system. And graduating seniors leaving foster care get a bag too.
They gave me like a...
Betty, now a master's student at UNT, received a laptop and all she needed to pursue a future as a nurse.
Yeah, it just has my name on it.
And Marve, a sophomore at UNT, got an even bigger bag.
And it all helped me get by through my first year of college.
Day One would like to give a bag to every foster graduate in the country.
We just know that we need all the support we can get to make sure that actually happens.
Which Betty and Marve say is well worth the investment.
That one little act of kindness, you can multiply it for another person.
Eventually, we'll end up with like a lot of people feeling loved who never felt it before, and that just makes a better world.
All thanks to a bag filled with hope. In Denton, I'm Sean Giggy.
Love that story. All right, look at this. A simple day at the pool turned into a reminder that kindness still exists. One East Texas mom says she was overwhelmed in a good way by the strangers who showed her little boy some extra love. And now her post is getting a lot of attention on social media. Ayana Aird shares the viral moment that is connecting two families.
She had a baby boy, and so cute. Like, you just couldn't help but notice him, and he was wanting to get in the water so bad.
That baby boy was 1-year-old Amari, just trying to get a splash in the pool on a hot day.
And so cute. Like, you just couldn't help but notice him, and he was wanting to get in the water so bad.
It was a simple moment, but what happened turned into something much more meaningful.
It was like really a hectic day with me being there by myself.
I said, well, let's just go out and, try it out. It looked fun.
LaToya Deshawn brought her daughter, cousin, and a friend along with little Amari to the Stillwater RV Resort Saturday.
There's so much going on in the world right now with racism and things like that. So, when I first got there, I felt a little uncomfortable, but everybody showed us kindness.
That kindness came from Charles Fossey and his girlfriend, who couldn't help but smile at baby Amari. LaToya says her son loves the water, but didn't want to get him too close without supervision. That moment of connection quickly went viral on Facebook.
And I noticed them kept looking at me, and she was like, give me that baby. I said, okay. So they played with him again. She was like, I'm sorry, I don't have any grandkids. That's why I keep getting him. I was like, that's fine. It was the sweetest thing ever, for real.
LaToya shared the video to find the sweet couple and show an unexpected act of kindness.
I really wanted to shout it out and let the public know what type of people, everybody's not the same.
Not realizing it was going to go viral.
That's what kindness gets you.
I love the pool so much anyway, even as an adult, so I understand his excitement.
And it's clear that Amari's love for the water isn't going anywhere.
Look at Bub getting swimming lessons. My baby's gonna learn how to swim quick.
Welcome back. We are heading to Arizona now to shop at the oldest and largest hat shop in the state. It's been fitting locals, travelers, and celebrities for several decades now. And as Crystal Long shows us, you might recognize one from a major movie franchise.
Whether you're dressing up, hanging, poolside, or you've gone country, Heritage Hats has all of the hats you could ever dream up, with thousands in store, all kinds of accessories, and custom services.
We're the largest hat shop in the Southwest. We started this out of the back of my 1978 Datsun pickup truck, and we started doing the rodeo circuit. And then the second year, I was able to start my first store. I have been here 41 years. Our showroom is 3,200 square feet. This is the Western and the cap room. The next room back is the hiking hats, Panama hats, the 1920s, 30s fedoras, all the leather hats. Pretty much every kind of hat that they make we have in stock. Let's get some steam going here. We not only sell hats, but we service hats. These are blocks. These are from 1910, and the hat actually fits over the block, and then I can hand shape it. And then if I'm actually custom making a hat, this hat will fit inside of a flange, and then we press it and reshape the brim. Then all the hats we just kind of seam, and then we add a stain guard to protect the felt or the straw.
How rare of an art is hat making?
Full service hat shops, they're very rare anymore because of Amazon and places like that. The little mom and pop shops are closing up.
What are some of the hottest hats right now?
Right now, the younger guys are really into the Western hats.
Tell me about the style I'm wearing.
That is a handmade Panama. Those are all handmade down in Ecuador. That one probably takes about a day and a half because of all the colors they have to intertwine.
Who are some of your famous customers?
Frank Lloyd Wright. I restored all of his hats that are now in his museum. Ronald Reagan, who was our president. I made a couple hats for him. Nancy Reagan's mom lived down by the Biltmore, and Nancy Reagan sent a Secret Service guy in to order some hats. The hats I made for President Reagan are now in the Reagan Library. Wallace and Ladmo, which everybody would remember, I did all their hats for their show. And then if you remember the TV show cast of Glee, I furnished all the hats for Glee.
Recognize this hat from Indiana Jones? The next time you're out for a new adventure, swing by Heritage Hats.
Hey, that's pretty cool. All right, now it's a story that proves failure can be the first ingredient to success. Tyler Poxlich goes behind the scenes to look at the new movie, bringing the legacy of a popular chocolate bar to the big screen.
It's a company most Americans know, and a story most Americans don't. Hey, Mark. Milton Hershey, the man who turned melted chocolate and big dreams into a legacy that still shapes a town.
It's just this epic, entrepreneurial, rags to riches story, but it's also, what I fell in love with when I decided to write that first script was the love story between Milton and Catherine and the legacy that they left with the school.
Writer and producer Sharon Paul says the upcoming film Hershey dives deep into Milton Hershey's early struggles, long before he wrapped himself in success.
It really shocked me thinking of this incredibly successful, pervasive brand that's so beloved all over the world and particularly in America, but to think like it almost didn't happen.
The production is led by Dandelion Media, bringing to light the story of Milton Hershey, the man whose name still melts hearts and defines a Pennsylvania town and a chocolate empire.
It's a story of hope. It's a story that tells us that, you know, business can be effective and kind, that love matters. So I think it's the kind of movie that theaters need right now.
The Hershey Company is also backing the project, helping bring accuracy and depth to the chocolate maker's life, making sure the story is as rich as the product itself.
We've been working with the screenwriters and the producers for a couple of years now to make sure we tell the best, most true version of Mr. Hershey's story.
And at the heart of Hershey's legacy is not just chocolate, but children. The Milton Hershey School, founded in 1909 to help underprivileged youth, remains a living testament to his vision of success with purpose.
Someone who is very successful at business, true love story, and then this legacy that has lived on for 115 years and will continue to live on in perpetuity. Just incredible.
More than a century after his chocolate dreams came true, the people bringing his story to life reflected on how the man himself might react to seeing it.
We are really honoring Kitty's legacy as well as his, because she was the heart of his story.
Milton himself just valued her on such a level that gave her authority, and that's kind of why we have the school today, because it was Kitty's idea.
His reaction would be, please make sure you get the Kitty part of the story right.
Though it's filmed in Fayette County, its impact stretches far beyond honoring the man who built more than just a chocolate bar. He built a legacy.
That was Tyler Poglich reporting. We'll be right back with more Featured. Stay with us. For one Texas neighborhood mailman, delivering letters turned into delivering love after a longtime resident on his route passed away and his dog had nowhere to go. Sydney Persing has more on how that mailman was able to give one pup a new leash on life.
Every single day, there are dogs inside the City of Denton Animal Shelter waiting for a human to take them home.
Come on, come this way.
Tuesday, a 70-pound pup named Floyd finally got his happy ending.
Like, I'm taking this guy home with me. Here.
Ian Burke knew he was meant to be Floyd's forever family.
I don't take it lightly, you know, like oh, this is just some random dog that I'm adopting.
Tuesday at the shelter, by the way, wasn't the first time they'd met.
This is a dog that was loved and cherished by a former customer of mine.
Ian is a mailman. He met Floyd 3 years ago, delivering mail to Floyd's then owner, an elderly, wheelchair-bound Vietnam vet, on Ian's daily route.
And he got out the door and he charged at me, right, a little puppy.
Ian looked forward to seeing Floyd and his owner each week.
Checked his mail, which I liked.
But about a year and a half ago, Ian's route changed.
All right, come on.
And Saturday, the mailman who took over
Come on, buddy.
let Ian know Floyd's owner had died, and he was in the shelter.
I went down to the shelter at about 10 a.m. is when they opened. I got there at 9:50 to make sure I was first in line.
And he was.
I kind of felt responsible to take care of him. I think he'd be pleased to know that his former mailman is taking good care of his dog. Good boy.
Ian hopes sharing Floyd's story might encourage others to head to the shelter and give a dog a second chance.
Good boy.
It's only been 2 days,
Good boy.
and already Floyd is this man's very best friend.
Probably one of the best things that the Postal Service inadvertently issued me.
In Denton, I'm Sydney Persing.
Oh, I love that story. That's a great way to wrap up this episode of Featured. I hope you found something that simply made you smile or inspired you today. Until next time, make it a great one.